Did you know that if we started a journey to the nearest star today, using our most advanced technology, our great-great-grandchildren 3,000 generations in the future would still be traveling? And I'm being optimistic. Welcome to another episode where we explore the limits of what's humanly possible in the cosmos. Today we're going to discover why, despite all our ambition and technology, the solar system might be our definitive cosmic prison. If you're one of those people who dreams about Star Trek and interstellar travel, get ready for a reality check that's going to blow your mind. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because you won't want to miss the upcoming videos about the mysteries of the universe. So let's begin our journey through the obstacles that make interstellar travel not just difficult, but possibly impossible for our species. The closest star to Earth is so distant that traveling there at the speed of a jet would take 5 million years. Do you truly comprehend what 4.24 light-years means in human terms? Proxima Centauri, our stellar neighbor, sits at a distance so mind-bogglingly vast that if you could travel at 500 millipass, the speed of a commercial airliner, you'd need 5 million years to reach it. That's 200,000 human generations living and dying while you're still en route to the closest possible destination. But the real horror emerges when we examine what feasible speeds actually mean for interstellar travel. Even if we could build spacecraft capable of reaching 10% the speed of light, a velocity that would require revolutionary breakthroughs in physics and engineering, the journey would still take 42 years one way. You'd depart as a young adult and arrive as an elderly person, assuming you survived the journey. There's no weekend trip to the stars, no quick exploration mission, only one-way tickets to oblivion. Yet distance is merely the first nightmare in a catalogue of impossibilities that will make you question everything about space exploration. Keep watching, because what I'm about to reveal about the lethal radiation awaiting us in deep space will show you that even if we could somehow overcome these distances, we'd be traveling toward our own extinction. The universe has designed interstellar space as the perfect death trap for anything that dares to venture beyond our solar system. Accelerating a single spacecraft to 10%, the speed of light would require all the energy humanity produces in an entire year. Can you fathom the staggering amount of power needed to achieve even a fraction of light speed? According to relativistic physics calculations, reaching just 10% of light speed would demand 1.5 x 10^120 joules, equivalent to the total annual energy consumption of our entire planet. We're talking about channeling every power plant, every solar panel, every wind turbine on Earth for 365 days straight, just to launch one small spacecraft. This energy requirement grows exponentially more insane as we approach higher speeds, creating an insurmountable mathematical wall. At 50% light speed, the energy needed multiplies by astronomical factors, requiring more power than entire star systems produce. It's not just expensive or difficult, it's physically impossible within the known laws of physics. Even if we harnessed the total energy output of our sun for years, it wouldn't be enough to propel a meaningful payload to the speeds necessary for practical interstellar travel. But energy is just the beginning of our technological nightmare. Wait until you discover the radiation death trap that awaits us in deep space. Stay focused, because I'm about to expose how the cosmos has filled the void between stars with invisible killers that would destroy any living creature long before reaching the destination. The universe hasn't just made interstellar travel difficult, it has made it a guaranteed suicide mission. We would need to invent propulsion systems that are currently indistinguishable from magic to make interstellar travel feasible. Do you realize that our most advanced rockets today use the same basic principle as fireworks from medieval China, burning fuel and shooting it out the back? To reach other stars in reasonable timeframes, we'd need technologies like antimatter engines, fusion ramjets, or solar sails the size of continents, concepts that exist only in theoretical papers and science fiction movies. We're essentially cave people dreaming of building smartphones. The technological gap between our current capabilities and interstellar requirements is like comparing a paper airplane to a space shuttle. Our best spacecraft, Voyager 1, took 35 years just to leave our solar system and is crawling through space at a pathetic 0.006% the speed of light. To achieve the 10 to 20% light speeds needed for practical interstellar missions, we'd need breakthrough discoveries in physics that may never happen. It's not about improving what we have. It's about inventing entirely new branches of science. But even if we somehow develop these magical technologies, there's a far more sinister obstacle lurking in the darkness of space. Pay close attention, because I'm about to reveal how the seemingly empty void between stars is actually a cosmic shooting gallery filled with microscopic bullets traveling at devastating velocities. The universe has turned the space between stars into a weapon designed to destroy anything brave enough to attempt the journey. Your bones would become as brittle as chalk, and your muscles would waste away to nothing during the decades-long journey to another star. Did you know that astronauts lose 1 to 2% of their bone mass every month in zero gravity? On a 20-year interstellar voyage, your skeleton would become so fragile that a simple handshake could shatter your fingers. Your heart, no longer fighting gravity, would shrink and weaken until it could barely pump blood through your deteriorated cardiovascular system. You wouldn't arrive at another world as an explorer. You'd arrive as a medical catastrophe. The psychological devastation would be equally catastrophic, turning the human mind into its own worst enemy. Imagine spending decades trapped in a metal box with the same people, watching Earth shrink to a pale dot until it disappears entirely. Studies of isolated populations show that extreme confinement leads to severe depression, psychosis, and violent behavior. Crew members would inevitably turn on each other, transforming the spacecraft into a floating asylum where murder becomes preferable to another day of claustrophobic hell. But what I'm about to show you makes these human limitations look trivial compared to the cosmic death sentence waiting in deep space. Get ready to discover how space itself has become weaponized against us. I'll reveal the invisible radiation storm that would cook your DNA long before your bones could finish crumbling. The human body isn't just poorly designed for space travel, it's specifically designed to die there. Outside Earth, you have less than 15 months before cosmic radiation destroys your life expectancy. Did you know there's an invisible, constant rain of deadly particles bombarding everything in deep space, literally tearing apart your DNA cell by cell? NASA has established a 600 MSV limit for an astronaut's entire career, a number that seems technical until we discover that in interstellar space, you'd reach this lethal dose in just 443 days. Now observe the devastating reality behind these numbers. On a 20-year journey to Proxima Centauri, you'd be exposed to more than 16 times the radiation limit considered safe for an entire lifetime. This isn't just dangerous, it's a guaranteed death sentence from radiation-induced cancer, assuming you don't succumb first to massive cellular mutations or organ failure. Interstellar space is an ocean of invisible destruction that makes any prolonged journey scientific suicide. But what I'm about to show you will reveal why not even shields can save us from this threat. Pay attention, because we'll discover how trying to block cosmic radiation creates a fatal paradox. Effective shields would be so massive they'd make the spacecraft impossible to accelerate, while lightweight shields create even more dangerous secondary radiation when particles collide with the protective material. Physics has conspired to create a perfect trap. You perish from radiation, or you perish trying to protect yourself from it. A grain of dust becomes a rifle bullet when you travel at 20% the speed of light. Do you believe the space between stars is a perfect void where spacecraft can glide smoothly? The interstellar medium is actually a deadly minefield of cosmic dust and microscopic particles that transform into devastating projectiles at relativistic speeds. A simple grain of space sand would carry the destructive energy of military ammunition, piercing any known material like paper. The frequency of these impacts would make any journey a statistical death sentence. Scientists calculate that a house-sized spacecraft would face millions of microscopic collisions per second during interstellar travel. Each impact would create micro-fractures in the hull, releasing radiation and vaporizing small portions of the structure until the ship literally disintegrates particle by particle. It's like being executed by a billion microscopic bullets fired continuously for decades. But there's an even more sinister discovery about the hidden dangers of deep space. Keep watching, because I'll reveal how our telescopes have detected interstellar hydrogen clouds with varying densities that would create lethal turbulence. A spacecraft entering a denser region would be like a car hitting a concrete wall at 37,000 times, so while transitions between different densities would generate shearing forces capable of splitting the structure in half. The universe has transformed empty space into a perfect extermination trap. Even if you could travel to the stars, you'd return to a world where everyone you love had been dead for decades. Have you ever thought about the horror of relativistic time dilation at near light speeds? For you, on the spacecraft, the journey to Proxima Centauri would last 20 years, but on Earth, entire centuries would have passed due to Einstein's relativity effects. You'd literally become a ghost from the past, returning to a totally unrecognizable civilization where your existence would be merely a historical curiosity. This isn't science fiction, it's relentless mathematics that transforms any return into an existential tragedy. Imagine leaving Earth with small children and coming back to find only century-old graves. Your memories, your language, your cultural values would be relics from an era lost in time. It's like waking from a coma to discover that entire generations disappeared while you were unconscious, leaving you orphaned from your own time. The cruelest part is that this temporal prison intensifies with each attempt to escape. Pay attention, because I'll show you how relativistic calculations create a devastating psychological dilemma. The faster you travel to reduce subjective travel time, the greater the time difference with Earth becomes, transforming each speed increase into a more severe condemnation to temporal isolation. Einstein didn't just limit our speed, he created a curse where fleeing from time condemns us to eternal exile from it. Would you force your children to live and die in a space prison just to satisfy your dream of exploration? Generational ships seem like the perfect solution in science fiction, space cities where entire families are born, live and die during century-long journeys to the stars. But here's the ethical horror no one dares discuss. You'd be imprisoning thousands of innocent people in a metal can, never to experience a real sunset, breathe fresh air, or walk on real grass, all to fulfill an objective they never endorsed. The real nightmare emerges when these captive generations inevitably turn against their imposed destiny. Stay tuned for what I'll show you about the apocalyptic scenarios that sociologists have already predicted. Generational revolts, voting to return to Earth, followed by the devastating discovery that a faster ship departed decades later and will arrive first, making centuries of suffering completely useless. It would literally be enslaving entire generations for someone else's dream, the greatest act of tyranny in human history. Every attempt at prolonged hibernation in mammals has ended in irreversible brain damage or death. Do you believe that movie-style science fiction hibernation could solve our interstellar travel problems? Reality is brutally different. We don't know how to induce cryogenic sleep in humans without literally killing them in the process, and even basic experiments on animals have resulted in catastrophic neurological disasters. Decades of medical research have failed to find a way to pause human metabolism without causing massive cellular death. But suppose we miraculously managed to develop functional human hibernation. What you'll discover now is even more terrifying. You'd wake up after decades as a ghost of what you were, with completely atrophied muscles and permanent neurological damage that would destroy your original personality. It wouldn't be a person arriving at the destination. It would be a decomposing body carrying the fragmented remains of a consciousness that didn't survive the temporal journey intact. Humanity's most advanced space project, with $100 million in funding, plans to send only a coin-sized chip to the stars. Do you see the devastating irony that our best attempt to reach other star systems can't even carry a hamster, let alone a human being? Breakthrough Starshot represents decades of research and billions in technology just to launch gram-weight nanocrafts toward Proxima Centauri. If this is all we can accomplish with our most advanced technology, any dream of interstellar colonization is pure megalomaniacal fantasy. Even this microscopic project faces a technical challenge that exposes our technological impotence. How do you keep a laser beam perfectly focused on something smaller than a coin at 37,000 miles distance, when the slightest atmospheric vibration completely misaligns the system? It's like trying to hit an ant with a precision rifle from across town during an earthquake. This obstacle alone demonstrates why larger projects are physically impossible with our current engineering. The final revelation about the timescales involved destroys any remaining romanticization of interstellar exploration. Look at this brutal math. Even if breakthrough starshot worked perfectly, it would take 20 years to reach the destination, plus 4.2 years to send confirmation back. An entire generation of humanity waiting to receive a single pixelated photo of a distant point of light. This is our maximum possible achievement, turning human life into a cosmic waiting room for low-resolution images. So here's the truth that science fiction doesn't want you to know. We're not prisoners of the solar system due to lack of will or technology. We're prisoners of the fundamental laws of physics, biology, and reality itself. The distances are too vast. The energy required is too absurd. Our bodies are too fragile and time is too cruel. But you know what? Maybe this isn't a prison, but rather a perfect home. We have a unique blue planet in the known universe, with oceans, breathable atmosphere, and an incredible biosphere. Maybe our mission isn't to escape the solar system, but rather to protect and fully explore this cosmic oasis we call home. And what do you think? Should we accept our cosmic limits or keep dreaming about the stars? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed having your mind blown by the reality of the universe, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because in the next video we're going to explore why we might not be alone in the universe, but why that could be even scarier than it seems. Until next time, and remember, the cosmos owes us nothing, but has given us everything.